we're going ahead and gonna give this movie Lightyear for 2022. We're gonna give this movie a grade, but before we do that, we gotta review it. And on this episode movie breakdown, I got Tariq back. He is on Title Phoenix back to join us on this review. This is a Patreon request from yours truly right there, from Title Phoenix. Patreon request. And before we hop into it, one last thing, I like to do a lot before, but if there's a review you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I can get to it as best I can. And also Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. Get the cut in front of everybody, get your review out way before it comes out on Facebook and YouTube, like he's using his Patreon privilege, and get me the review Lightyear. We're going to get it out and you get to watch it before it comes out on YouTube and Facebook. Now, let's get on and get into today's episode of 2022's Lightyear. And what is the movie about? It's about the origins of Buzz Lightyear. It's pretty much, this movie is how Buzz Lightyear becomes Star Command, how he becomes part of that legendary Space Command, Space Cadet, and Space Soldier, whatever you want to call him, Command Officer. You become that legendary officer. This is that story, and that toy Buzz Lightyear is based off of this movie that came out before Toy Story came out. So before Andy bought the toy, this movie came out. He saw the movie, and this is his favorite movie, which is, I kind of want to start there because I think this movie came out in the 90s. Some of the stuff that's in this movie would not actually exist in the 90s. So it's, that's one little, I guess, negative.
There's a lot of inconsistencies with the time.
Yes, but other than that, like this movie, the things that I like, or you want to go first on the things you like?
Oh, no, go ahead.
The animation in this movie is top tier. This movie it looks beautiful. Like it just looks so clean.
That Pixar stance.
So good. Just really peak animation. Like the animation is great. I like Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. Like he didn't sound bad. Like I thought he was cool. I liked Alicia, the character that he was his friend, his partner, and that the first 20 minutes of this movie, what I really like. And this movie is only an hour and where is it at? Oh, an hour and 45 minutes. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. That's all this movie is. So I was like, oh, I like the fact it's not a 2-hour movie. Great. Because sometimes the extra 15 minutes of a movie can
too much time can kill it.
Too much. And so this movie was clear and concise. And like within the first 15 minutes of this movie, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
It's firing off.
Which was really, really good. Then the negatives come in for me. But what about you?
No, I agree with that. The animation is top tier. I like the acting. Great acting from everybody all around. There's good chemistry between Buzz Lightyear and the characters. Buzz Lightyear is kind of a loner, his character. And so when you see him and trying to struggle to kind of get to know other characters, but how he does have a good rapport with Hawthorne, you get to see the contrast between that character. I like that. This is my homie. I don't know y'all over here. And you really see that real big contrast with Buzz. I like to see that. So I think there's good. I think there's a really good message in the movie. I think there's really good character development in the movie with Buzz and maybe another character.
What's the message? What's the message you think?
Okay, so my favorite part of it, I don't want to spoil this now.
No, per se. We're not doing a spoiler section because this movie came out last year.
But my message, the message that I took away from this movie that I really enjoy is the fact that sometimes things happen and there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to learn to move on.
Yeah,
you have to learn to accept your failures. Know that they happen, not beat yourself up with them for time and time again and try to correct that mistake, because ultimately Buzz doing that, time went on without him. Yeah, everything went on without him. So that's the like a message that I really enjoyed was accepting your failures, moving on, and not being stuck on the past to where your life passes you by, essentially.
That's true. That is pretty much the theme of the movie, because what happens in this movie, Buzz Lightyear gets marooned on a planet, him and his teammates.
His fault.
And they try to get off the planet, so they're like, okay, we're going to build this thing. So they build a spaceship to try to get off the planet, but the problem is he can't go fast enough, so he's going to space. He comes back. He's on space for a few seconds, but what happens on the planet is like 4 years gone by. So every time he goes up, he loses 4 years on Earth with his friends. And
Time dilation.
Yeah, time keeps going, and one of the most impactful scenes in this movie is his friend Alicia, who he sits in, like, that's his number one partner. That's his number, like, 1 and 2, and he watches as she come back. She gets a little older.
Time and time
She's
again.
now in command. She's now in command. She's the head general in charge. I don't know the actual position ranking with the title.
Director.
Yeah. And then another year go by. Her son, she gets married. She has a wife. And then another year goes by, and then she has a son. And then another 4 years go by, and now she's like, her son got a kid. And then another 4 years go by, and she's dying. Like, she legit tells Buzz, like, hey, when you come back, I won't be here anymore. And
he's so focused on the mission. Like, he's not paying attention to any of this. He's just so, like, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. Done. And before he knows it, it's gone.
In this same montage, there's a scene where, like, she's driving it because she's old. She's, like, curving off the road, and Bud try to fix it. She's like, no. And I just love the little things like that. It reminds me of the movie Up, where, like, within the first, I think, 10 minutes of the movie or 20 minutes of the movie, where you see the old man's lifestyle and see how he lives with his wife, and then his wife dies, and then he just...
it changes.
Yeah, he just sits in that house. It's the same... It's the same thing with this movie. Like, that little montage, it wasn't much word speaking. It was just, hey, welcome back. And then, like, another thing. And then it gets to the point where Buzz goes back again and then finds out, like, he's been gone, what, 70 years? Or, no, it was like...
It's almost 100-something. By the end of it, it's a long time.
And he meets Alicia's daughter, who's played
Granddaughter.
Granddaughter, played by Kiki Palmer, Izzy. And Izzy's like, you're Buzz Lightyear. I read about you all the time. Yeah. And Buzz like, all right, well, we still got to finish the mission. Got to go back up there. But now there's a robot named Zurg.
Wait, here, can I pause something real quick? Here's what's so funny about this. Buzz is still on the mission. Everybody else who's there have already, like, accepted it already. Yeah. Nobody else is trying to leave.
They made a bubble.
They're just like, this is where we're at. We're gonna make do. Buzz is the only person who's still on it, mind you, which makes it even more obvious to, like, it makes him seem more, like, chaotic, you know, to me, because he's just like, he can't give it up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to get us off this planet. And they're like, no, we're good. We're going to just maintain the station here on home to the planet. Yeah. But eventually he does find a way to, like...
Get the fuels.
And everything. Thanks to Socks. Socks is his cat. He's like, oh, yeah. It was a robotic cat that's, like, pretty much made to watch him and keep an eye on him. But it's also super smart. And so Socks figured out the chemicals, how to go, you know, farther.
It's like the Vision.
And in the future, they meet Zurg. And Zurg ended up being, instead of Buzz Lightyear's father, as we all thought it was going to be, because that's what the Toy Story 2 joke was. Yeah. No, he's actually an older version of Buzz.
A Buzz variant.
Who still can't give it up, and he's trying to go back and pass. And what really makes Buzz stop to sit was when Zurg was like, well, we just wipe out everybody. He's like, what about Izzy? Like, he had created this bond with the grandmother, or with the granddaughter, and he's like, what about Izzy and Alicia? Like, she lived a good life. She doesn't deserve to lose her life because we want to go back in time and set it up where we all make it off the planet, and then she loses everything that she liked. And that's where it hits him like...
And piggybacking off of that, and the reason why the future Buzz, or I wouldn't say it's a variant Buzz, rather, doesn't have that emotional connection is because that's like the original Buzz. He's like the Buzz that didn't have that emotion. He never met Izzy. He didn't have that connection with Hawthorne in that variant of that Buzz. So he's still self-centered. He's still, I don't need anybody. And that's why he doesn't care.
So was he going back? What that threw me off, he was coming, the older Buzz was coming back, right? Like he was going back in time?
What I assume in with him is that is a variant of Buzz that is still in the loop.
Yeah.
He's still doing the loopy loop. And you know just how
but he ran out of fuel. That's why he was stuck there.
Right. And then once that fight, because our Buzz just stopped to interact with our crew, which is the reason he meets.
Well, he crash landed, and then he was like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Robots." Like, wait a minute.
But then he meets Izzy, right? So then that's what kind of derails that. Imagine if that didn't happen. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's no interaction with Izzy. There's no connection.
But the only reason he met Izzy was because Zurg was there already creating. Right. Like if Zurg wasn't there, he would have
wouldn't have crashed.
Yeah, he ran away. Like he said, I crashed here. They came after me, so I ran away and then made the robots. But if it wasn't for
Zurg, that wouldn't have happened. So in that timeline, that never happened. So he just kept going.
Yeah.
So in that one, there's no emotional connection to those people anymore, and they don't show this in the movie because they just don't. But all that community was housed on the what do they call the turnip? Yeah, that whole civilization was housed on that turnip. We don't know how that through those time dilations where Buzz went on. We don't know how the people was waking up because I think in the beginning it was just like him and her and like a couple other people. It was really weird. They didn't have everybody was asleep.
Yeah, they really don't show up until the end after Buzz Lightyear defeats Zurg, and then all of a sudden everybody's like Buzz, and like wait a minute. And then like, oh, but wait, we're now Star Command and we're space cadets and all that stuff. And like,
yeah, and he's even surprised. He's like, it's a whole planet with the people on a turnip.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
Why do you only have 2 people awake on a planet full of people? You think you would have a whole crew
for days? A lot of stuff has happened on this. Like, well, I guess when days gets hours. It's really more hours versus. I guess it was a day or so.
That's the time warps around because Buzz is warping around. So
but I mean, like when he lands and him and Izzy are trying to get to fight Zurg and beat Zurg and everything. I think it was like what, a day or so. It wasn't that long of a time period because you
never know with these montages because they do the little training montage and they do they get the suit up and they earn their Space Ranger suits. You know what I'm saying? How much time passes in there?
Right. Like so maybe a week he was there before they go like Zurg because Zurg was also hunting him down too. So Zurg found out that Buzz was there hunting him down. So
Buzz is so good that he can train these really terrible rookies in just a couple of days to fight these advanced robots. I love that. That can just beam you out of it. They just can beam you up too. They just gone. Anyway.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into some negatives here. So negatives, you want me to go first or you go first?
I can go first with a couple of them. The story kind of don't make sense.
Okay.
Like the story is not. I think the messages are good, but the story in itself is kind of choppy. It doesn't. There's a lot of like loopholes you can poke at. There's a lot of inconsistencies with certain things. There's a lot to poke at. All in all, I think it's an okay storyline. I think it's just okay. It's average. It's just there to get the job done. What they really want you to do is identify with the characters. I think identify with a or 2 characters, and then kind of get the messaging out of it. But the storyline is kind of weak. I think the villain's really weak because the villain's motivations are not good, in my opinion. They're valid, but not very good to do the level of, I guess, hainery that they try to do. I don't think you need to attack all these people for the kind of outcome they were trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying? I don't think their goal would have made them a villain. I think it would have just put them at odds with some people, but not made them a full-blown villain. So villain's weak, story's just average, and inconsistencies with some of the stuff. I think that's the biggest thing.
Mine's pacing of this movie. Like after Buzz lands and meet Izzy, the movie slows down tremendously.
Yeah.
And then you have the other characters, the side characters, the old man, or not the old man, but like the goofball guy and the old lady. Like they just don't add much to me. Like the characters, like I really besides Izzy, Alicia, and Buzz are the 3 that I really like got attached to. All the other ones were just like, And then the whole thing with Buzz Lightyear being Zurg as well. And then, like you said, like, why is he a bad guy? And then, like, Buzz is gone home, like, all right, let's do this. Until the moment he's like, well, I don't think we shouldn't do this. And then immediately it was like, fight. Like, wait a minute. Like, what do you mean? Like, what? Why was it such a flip from realization? Like, yeah, let's do this. To like, I don't think we should do this. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're fighting. Like, wait a minute. And then the ending wraps up and you're just like, at this point, just get the movie over with. I'm not gonna lie, like by the time the ending ends, I was just like, it's okay, it's cool. Like it's not a bad movie. It just I don't really.
That's where it fails. That's where it starts to crash. Like because I don't understand. Maybe you guys just I don't understand why are they really fighting each other? You know what I mean?
Like
it's like does Buzz just not have he just doesn't trust people that much to where he doesn't even trust himself? And he's gonna snake himself? Like, is that what it is?
Right? Right? It really made no sense, like, really, as far as, I don't say it made no sense, like, you couldn't comprehend it. Like, you can watch and be like, okay, but it's just not like, all right, cool, that's what we're going with. Like, what's the cop-out answer for this?
It doesn't seem like logical to do the things. Like, if a regular person were to think about that, like, what would I do if I put myself in those shoes? It's like, there's a different way I would go about that.
Right.
I think everybody would choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things before that thing. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it feels like.
But I would say the movie does look nice. Like this movie goes from here to down, but like but like that bottom's not like it's a horrible movie. Like it still looks good. The voice acting is still solid. Like everything.
Action scenes are good too. Action scenes are great.
But it's also I never felt like there was a sense of danger in this movie for the character. I didn't feel like they're gonna die here. No, it was like I didn't see them like getting messed. I didn't see them failing. And then get marooned in the Buzz like, you know what, I'm done with y'all. I'm out. I'm tired of this bullcrap. I'm tired of rookies. I'm going all by myself. Then he goes all by himself and get kidnapped. And then he's like, well, we can't get rid of Izzy. We got to support them. Like, we got to go save them. But older Buzz was like, what?
No, because
he's like
no attachment.
Yeah, no attachment. But like I was kind of thrown off by that part where like Buzz was like, I'm done with y'all. But then they go rescue him. And by them rescuing him, he was like, oh, well, you guys are here. You guys are not complacent. You guys are, what's the word I'm looking for?
Space Ranger material?
Yeah, but I'm like, not comprehensible, but it's adequate. You guys are not adequate, but it's like, it's the same thing as adequate. Like, you guys can do it. Like,
sufficient.
Sufficient, yeah, where it's like, because Buzz was like down in the whole movie. He hates rookies because rookies always make mistakes. That was his whole gripe at the beginning of the movie. And then, like, he'd get stuck with rookies and had to learn to be like,
well, he didn't like a lot of stuff. He was like almost that senior cop. Like I don't want, because he didn't like the AIs either. He was always grabbing about the no AIs. And turn it off in the middle of the conversation. He didn't like AIs. Mandalorian style, no droids.
No droid. Yeah,
you know
like he's so old school, but which is crazy because they're in space. So like, why would he be such old school in a time where like that's what they needed, spaceships, all that stuff. Anyway, they were playing with monsters or living life forms and creatures attacking them. So you'd think he'd be more open to AIs. But anyway, like he gonna hate robots now because of Zurg, like. And Zurg was inside. He was inside an actual robot, so
he just doesn't like no AIs.
No AIs. No rookies. But he does open up to AIs. He does open up to rookies because he had a whole thing about how rookies made him feel a certain way, and the reason why he was who he is because he liked the way rookies made him feel, like made him feel like the days when he messed up and all that stuff. But other than that, like. So I was kind of tossed by that little when I talked. I was a little like, oh wait a minute, this is not like the other movies where it's just we made it out alive and we cool. Like no. We are, walking away. But then I don't think he even, after he walks away, I don't think he even, like, reconciled with Izzy, like, hey, I'm sorry for how I was back there. And it was like, Buzz, we're here to sing. You're like, awesome.
I mean, if you take, I know you can't really connect things like that. But if you were to connect, like, Buzz's character, like, if you were to watch this movie, right? Watch this movie and imagine how he is in the movie. And then see how his character is in the Toy Story, and then the subsequent other like Buzz Lightyear Star Commands, and just see how his character growth is. Then it kind of makes a little bit more sense because that's kind of his whole character.
Yeah,
so he doesn't like. It's not just rookies; it's people.
People he don't like.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he doesn't like a lot of people in general because they're always messing up, or you know what I'm saying, or they're not serious as him. He's very by the book. He's very kind of regular.
That was his problem in Toy Story 1 when he had to can't speak right now. Woody had to teach him like, hey, you're a toy. Yeah. Stop being so stuck up. Yeah, like calm down. Yep. So it was his thing. He'd learn to relax a little bit.
Untwisted.
Yeah, it's funny. So that makes sense now. You put it that way. You watch other Toy Story Lord and watch this.
I mean, it just adds to the whole effect because ultimately at the end of the movie, all this aside, which I hate that every movie, especially Disney. I'm looking at you, Marvel. I'm looking at you, Disney. There's always the MacGuffin item in the movie, the random item that has to be getting. To in this movie, it's the fuel and the fuel formula. This is what makes me. This is what I was talking about. The story that makes me mad. The whole fuel and the fuel formula, and that Socks, the AI robot, that they built is the thing that figures out the formula. So why couldn't we build another Socks, or why couldn't we just build, or why don't we have other AI that can figure this out? Right. Socks figures out the formula. They get the formula. Socks get the computer. The one computer gets crushed, and then they lose it. They don't have it, and Socks can't redo it because Socks gets crushed, and they're too busy fighting Zurg at that point in time. So then it's just like, Really? Really?
Right?
Why? I am inevitable.
Okay. All right. That was actually who plays Zerg. Let's go get the cast and characters and details. So, Lightyear came out in 2022. It was an hour and 45 minutes, as we stated. Rated PG.
Well, cause
Director is Angus McLean. Angus. Angus. I feel like that's not how I say their name. I'm sorry. And then the writers' names are Angus McLean, Matthew Aldrich, and Jason Headley. And the budget on this movie was $200 million estimate, and it grossed worldwide $226 million. So it actually
chopped a little off the top.
It didn't win.
No, it's just chopped a little off the top.
Right. Well, it did come out 2022. Pandemic was still big then. Like pandemic really did
I mean,
it really didn't officially.
I watched it on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
when it came out. Yeah, so I mean that's probably why a lot of that is too.
You think about pandemic, and then back then they didn't let like now they don't let movies in theaters longer than 45 days.
Are they counting streams on these?
No, they're not counting streams.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. It's just hard to tell now because box office don't really hit it all the way as much now with streaming services.
I don't know how much money goes into like residual from stream. Like, because you own the stream, you're paying for the stream. Does that mean like you make money, or it's because like do you get money for how many people watch your thing on the stream channel, or do you just get money because they? Like I have Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm subscribed to Disney Plus, but I don't watch everything on Disney Plus. So like.
That's the thing. That's the tricky dicky part of it all, because it's like like you said, do you get more money that way? Does Disney make more money off the subscriptions versus individual box office sales, depending? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then what's the split with the actor? That was the whole issue with Black Widow.
Right.
And Scarlett Johansson, because that whole ordeal was when it was really happening.
And then the cast, we have Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. I thought Chris Evans did a good job as Buzz Lightyear. Like, I almost thought at one point I was like, wait, is this Tim Allen?
Like, yeah, you can't even tell that's Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I actually looked that up.
Like, he did a good job being Buzz Lightyear. And for the most part, the Buzz Lightyear character was a good character. I enjoyed Buzz Lightyear in this movie. Keke Palmer is Izzy Hawthorne. She was like pretty much the warrior. She won't be like her grandmother, and she looked at the Buzz Lightyear, her grandmother. Like, she was great too. Like, fun characters, playoff Buzz, the whole like not good cop buddy. It's more like buddy cop kind of situation.
She makes him care, you know. Yeah. She adds that human element to Buzz. She has a human element to the team. You know what I mean?
Peter Shawn, who plays Socks. Socks is cool.
I love Socks. He's my favorite character in the movie.
He's a little cat robot, and he's just the sidekick character, but it's also important of sidekick character. Like he's good. Like, he's like the R2D2.
I have a toy Socks in my house.
Taika Waititi, who plays Mo Morrison's
character.
He's there.
This character messes up things constantly for them for no reason.
He's a flop for no reason. And
he just does stuff. Bumbling idiot, and then he causes all the little insects to wake up and attack them for no reason. It's a reason to give an action scene in a movie where there almost doesn't need to be action scenes because the issue really isn't a bad guy issue, but still.
Like, he was just capable was the word we're looking for. Capable soldier. Like, none of this will happen. But he was being stupid.
Yeah, there was no reason for him to be there.
He was literally just there to have problems. That's what the hell he was there for. And then Dale Souls, who plays Darby Steele, she's an older character who just pretty much is like another side character to add more comic relief. Like, that's what they was there for. Mm-hmm. James Brolin, who plays Zurg. It's Zurg, like Buzz Lightyear.
See, it's not even really Zurg. See, I hate that because that's not Zurg. That's Buzz Lightyear in a robot. Mm-hmm. That's not Zurg. You know what I'm saying? That's a mech suit with Buzz in it.
Pretty much.
It's a completely different. That's a completely different feel. Then Toy Story 2's Darth Vader parody. I'm an actual I want to hurt you.
I'm a galaxy destroyer.
Yeah,
or galaxy ruler.
Like in the show.
Yeah, in the show he did the same thing. He was like, I want to take over the galaxy.
Yeah. Had that villain. He was a villain. He was a what do you call it? The mustache twirling.
Yeah,
villain.
he's the arch nemesis too. But
he'll laugh and all that stuff. So yeah, this was just unhinged Buzz, a little disgruntled Buzz from the future. Disgruntled Buzz from the future.
And then last but not least, we have Uzo Aduba, who played Alicia Hawthorne. She is Buzz Lightyear, like right hand man, like his partner, pretty much.
The only person he respects.
Yeah, his teammate on as like
superior, actually.
Well, she becomes a superior. At first, he was his teammate, and then when he goes up and comes back, she becomes his.
Even when they was partners, she was kind of sunning him out there.
Yeah, she was like kind of like making sure everything stayed like Team 1A, like Pacific Rim. She was like the one side of the brain, the other side. Like they was like partner, but like she could tell she's more like
she was completing him.
Mm-hmm. And she had a great part, like her character. I wish we could have got a movie more about her and Buzz and that dynamic there, because that would have made a lot more. Because that first part when she come back, the
beginning is the best part.
Yeah, you're like, oh my heart. Like I wish we had more of that character, because she was like that rock to Buzz. She was like, you can see why Buzz respected her, why he wanted her to have a good life, and he came back. And every time she came back, he's like, she was happy to see him. He was happy to see her, and he was like, yeah, but why? Oh my gosh, congratulations to you and your family. You're married. You're engaged. You have a kid. Like you can see this whole thing, and you can see her like just dying.
Took him out of the stoic Buzz that we all see.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the cast there, and the cast for the most part, it was good. It was a good cast. Any other thoughts?
No, I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed the message, the takeaway from the movie, because like I said, we didn't talk about Captain Burnside. I love Captain Burnside just for the fact that he also represents the attitude of the civilization of the turnip. When Captain Burnside comes in after Hawthorne passes, he comes in, he's just completely the opposite of what Buzz is. He's like, everything that you're talking about is old hat. We not doing none of that. He almost to the point to where they're like trying to arrest Buzz because he takes one of their ships. But he's like, bro, we not trying to do the mission no more. That's taking too much time and resources. We're not doing that. We just, you know what we gonna do? We're gonna put up a laser shield over the entire planet.
Yeah.
He said, forget it.
Over the entire, like the community.
Like the whole turnip area, and knowing him, he'd probably get even bigger than that. But that was his solution for it.
And there's the ending scene in the movie where like I think it's the after credit scene where he's sitting there and he goes,
here, and he does it.
Laser shield. And he just laughs about it because like the monsters, but like because the insect, the planet's like it's not inhabitable by humans because it's giant
hostile into it.
Yeah, there's things that would kill you, like insects would kill you. There's tree virus. So like the shield cuts all that stuff off. So pretty much everything else is growing outside of it versus in it. And then like he's sitting there drinking like I think coffee or something. And then like you see one of the bugs trying to like hit his windshield and just
zaps.
Laser shield.
But that's the best part of it, because all of this, the whole adventure at the end of the movie, there's no change. They're still stuck. They're still there. There's all of that rigmarole, all that fighting, all that back and forth didn't mean jack squat at the end of the movie.
That's not good.
I'm just saying it doesn't.
Right. At
the end of the movie, they are still stuck there, and Captain Burnside ultimately ends up making the right decision and putting up the laser shield, and that's what they go with, and then that's the movie. So Buzz, you gotta learn to move on, just like me, Tyra. You gotta learn to move on, bro. Sometimes you just gotta leave it there, and hey, it's time to try something else. You gotta slice that pie with something else. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point in time, you done wasted so much time.
Yeah, I guess you look at that movie that way. This whole movie was a waste.
Yeah, it's a waste. It's about Buzz literally wasting time. That's the lesson. He wasted, just like the movie, he wasted all that time for nothing.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what I pull out of the movie. That's why I resonate with it, man. I get that. You know when SpongeBob, SpongeBob, why'd you set me on fire? Stop wasting time. Like that's the movie. Stop wasting time.
I think that's why like Alicia's scene hit so much for me, because like because the fact he kept leaving, like he was missing out time with her and the life
trying to fix it.
Yeah, and And matter of fact, when he got to fix it, take out the planet, what's going to change? Like, her life was not going to change. She'd still be the same age, but because
get him back to the home we never saw. I guess back to Earth.
I don't know where from. Yeah,
it doesn't. So like, but it doesn't. So because they had their whole civilization in the turnip, it's like, what were you actually going back to? Were there other people you left at home? We don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't see that. We don't see anybody have any connections to what was before.
Right.
So that's why it's so funny, because everybody seems so content when they're on their own. Once everybody's like, Buzz done tried this mission and noticed that they didn't send nobody else to do this but Buzz.
Yeah.
They gave up mighty early on this. They sent Buzz back once or twice. That ain't happening.
Yeah, because they surprised he came back. It was like, whoa, you're alive.
Because it took so long.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, that's
a long time. They probably thought Buzz died.
Yeah,
died, gone. Oh man, he ain't making
gone. Like they planned. Yeah, when he didn't come back down, it was like he's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
we ain't doing that one again.
One way to look at it. See, one other things I would say, the music was, I don't really remember much of the music score in this movie. Like, it doesn't really
standard hero music.
It doesn't really have anything that really stands
the
out.
Horns. Yeah. I call them the heroic horns.
The heroic
horns.
Animation's still good. Just still good animation there. All right, is this a Friday night movie? Like a movie, like get everybody together, have a movie night. I don't think I'm pulling this out as a Friday night movie to show everybody.
Nah, I wouldn't say it's a Friday night. This is if you like Disney, but if you like Buzz Lightyear, if you like the character, if you like Disney movies, maybe you got a little one. This is a good one. You can watch.
You can throw this on any time, but everybody get on a Friday night to watch. No, you're not picking this movie. I don't think you are.
This is a matinee movie.
Yeah, matinee time. Like this is not main event Friday night. This is
if you see it on streaming services. You haven't seen them before. You don't have anything. You're dying hard.
Like I wouldn't go pay for to watch this movie in theaters.
No,
I wouldn't.
But I would watch it if I see it on streaming services. If it popped up and it was like, hey, Buzz Lightyear, I pop it on and give it a watch. I actually have seen this movie multiple times. Yeah. I've seen it probably like 3-4 times. I actually like this movie a lot, even though it's not very good. But I'm like that.
All right, great time. Lightyear from 2022. I'm going to give this movie a grade of a C+. It gets a 79% for me. It's not a bad movie. Like it's not a great movie, but it's also a movie, like you said, you can watch it anytime. You can enjoy it. Like I think people will watch the movie, find parts of the movie like, oh my gosh, this really feels like I like this. And then parts of the movie be like, it's okay. It's not really that. It's all right. Like it's a background movie at certain times, and the time where it don't have to be a background movie. Sure. I'll give it a C+. Animation was phenomenal. Really great animation. Story just kind of a basic story that, like Tyreek just unraveled there. Like technically, you take rid of the story, nothing. It doesn't matter, which that's not good for a movie.
Yeah, it's more about the lessons that being learned than the actual journey in the actual story. The story is just the device mechanism to move the emotions.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one. It's a little bit above average. I'd give it probably like a C+ or something like that. The characters that are shown, like Hawthorne, Izzy, and Buzz, are all good. Everybody else is kind of just Socks is good too. I like Socks a lot. They're always kind of just throwing some characters I really like, some characters I don't. I really like the messagery. Don't like the story that much. It's kind of convoluted, but animation, like Ali said, is good. Here's one thing that I look for in movies that this movie didn't deliver: lines. There's no lines in this
movie. Not a quippy movie.
There's no memorable dialogue.
No.
There's no the most memorable dialogue in the whole movie are nostalgic lines that Buzz has already
not today, sir.
Yeah, that he's already used in Toy Story, to infinity and beyond. You know, when they do him and Hawthorne, which is a very emotional scene when they do that last to infinity and beyond through the hologram. Like super emotional scene, but you can't even, so you can't give him nothing because we already know that line.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what kills me. But yeah, C+.
C+. All right, IMDb gives this movie a 6.1 out of 10. That is a D-. And Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give it a 74%, which is a C. And the audience give this movie a 84%. That's a B from the audience. The audience enjoyed this movie. The critics kind of right there with us. Like, IMDb probably the harshest. We're giving it 6.1 out of 10.
That's a big. Yeah, they didn't.
They give it like that's a D, but a D plus. I guess when our grading, that's 60% is a D. But I guess for them, I guess that's
it said out of 10.
Yeah, it's not solid.
Good.
34% Rotten Tomato, and the audience love this movie. Give it 80%, 84%. That's a B. So I'm at C plus. Like, it's not a B. It's not quite a B yet. Like, maybe if you had characters that care more, maybe a stronger villain, you might got me there. But
that's what would have did it for this movie. Villain, different villain. It could have been. Just don't make Zurg buzz. I don't know what that was. That didn't need to happen. That's where they messed up. And then, even though I see why they did it, no, don't do that. And dialogue.
Yeah.
Villain and dialogue. Because even with that story the way it is, if you had some memorable lines and a boss villain, definitely would have went up.
Right.
Definitely.
And I think, like me, I was wondering that the Alicia Hawthorne scene, I just keep thinking about that montage there where he kept going up to space.
That's the best part.
Coming to space. Back, like, if they would have made the movie more about that and just like more of Alicia and the time like spent with them. So when that actually happens and she dies in the movie, I'm like,
it's more
impactful. Maybe Buzz does one last journey and then he goes kind of like how Monster Inc. at the end of Monster Inc. They put the back together Boo's door and then all it does is Sully open the door and he hears Kitty and the movie just cuts.
Yeah.
Like the movie could have done Buzz finally crashed landing. You think he made like Count Planet of the Apes? I think Planet of the Apes end that way too. Like you blew it all, right? Or does it end like that or not? The first one, like I think it ends where you see the Statue of Liberty was a monkey and he's like, you blew it. Yeah,
when the future, when they're basically in the taking over future.
I don't know if that was the ending or that was. But like I wish the Buzz Lightyear could have ended on that note where like he crash landed in the future. Or he thought he made it successful. He's like, I'm doing it one last time. We're gonna get out of here. And he lands and he think he made it. And he looks up and he's like, where am I? And then there's Izzy like, hey Buzz, like, and the movie could have ended that way or ended with Zurg showing up and you're like. Then you have your sequel, and then you can have more time, and then you can get used to like Mo Morrison and the older lady and have their characters fleshed out a little more where you care about them. Because I didn't care about them at all. I'm just like, I just didn't care. The only reason I care about Izzy because that was Alicia's granddaughter that you saw at the beginning of the movie when she's about to die, and the girl's like sitting there patting the grand. You're like, oh, exactly. And so therefore, he already had a connection to it versus this movie just didn't do it. So.
Yeah, they just wanted them to have a team for some reason. Marvel likes these teams.
At least use the team from Stark and Man. Like at least those characters are a little more memorable.
Those characters are good. Like Warp.
I can't think of any of the
Warp
names
Dark Matter,
but like
the blue dude who was his partner that turned into a villain, started working for Zurg. I remember. Oh, Warp Dark Matter. See, that would have been a character to throw in here. That was in Star Command, that was his partner. Again, another person that he trusted that actually stabbed him in the back, which would have given him motivation for not trusting people. If you would have shown Warp in the beginning of the movie, do what he did in the actual Star Command movie, like stab Buzz in the back and become Zurg's right hand dude, now that would have given him motivation for not liking people.
And then there you go. Like
that definitely happened. Yeah,
not that we could write a better movie, but I'm just saying like they I'm not sure it was a cash grab.
Put in Warp. Dang.
That's funny. All right, Tyreek. Any other thoughts before we head on out?
Yeah, they already made this movie. It's called Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It came out in like 2000. They already made this movie.
I didn't know that. We're gonna watch that. Well, that's our grade, guys, for the movie Lightyear for 2022. If you've seen Lightyear, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys on the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.